The Microsoft Windows sign-in screen that you are seeing here might look like a solid security barrier that seeks to prevent unauthorized access to your system. But under the hood, there is a vulnerability, one that allows local access or unauthorized access to be gained with just a few simple steps in some few minutes. In this video, I will demonstrate how the login screen can be bypassed using the built-in tools and a simple exploitation method. So this method is commonly used in penetration testing and incident response, but not for any malicious activity. So always use this knowledge responsibly and only on systems you own or have permissions to test. So here at the sign-in screen, Microsoft introduces the ease of access button on the far corner in between the network button and then also the power button. So when clicked, these are the features that the ease of access button gives you. Alright, so you have the magnifier, the on-screen keyboard, and what have you. So these features that we have as part of the ease of access button are controlled by the utility manager or the utilman.exe, a program which is located in the system32 directory of the volume C, which happens to be the boot volume which contains the operating system files. So that is where our target is. We are going to convert that program to command prompt so that as part of the process, when we come back to the sign-in screen and we click the ease of access button, it will give us the command prompt with administrative privileges, but not the ease of access button. And then we use the command prompt to continue the process. So here at the sign-in screen, we have Tech with Kobo account. We also have the lab account, which we are going to work with. So these are the two accounts available on the system. So we are assuming that we are legitimate users of this system, but we have forgotten our password, so we are unable to log onto the system. Or we are cybersecurity students learning how to bypass the sign-in screen of this machine. So if you are working with a live system, then you need a USB thumb drive. You also need the ISO image of the target operating system, and then you create a bootable disk with that USB thumb drive and the ISO image, connect it to the system, log into the setup utility of that system and change the boot order to USB as the first boot device. And then you boot from that thumb drive and continue the process. Or you can just connect the thumb drive to the system, power on the machine, interrupt it with the boot menu key, and then you boot from the pen drive and continue the process from there. So in this virtual machine, we are going to do something very similar. So I'm going to power off the VM. And then I go to edit virtual machine settings and then attach a DVD drive to the virtual machine. So when I attach the DVD drive to the virtual machine, I have to insert the ISO image. So back in the days, we used to use DVDs for operating system installation. So we make it a bootable medium, we insert it to the system and we continue the process. Nowadays we use USBs. So I'm going to attach a DVD or an ISO image to this DVD drive and use it as the boot device. So here I have to make sure that connect at power on is checked. So I click OK. Alright, I didn't choose the ISO image, so I'm going to click here and then select the first option. So I've been using several ISO images, but if in your case, if it is new, you can just click browse, you navigate to your system for the ISO image file and then you choose it. So I'm going to click OK here, and then when I finish, I have to go into the setup utility and change the boot order. So I'm going to right click here, go to power on to firmware. So over here, I'm going to change the boot order to DVD as the first boot order. So I'm going to click over here and then come to enter setup. Then I press enter to configure boot options. Then I navigate to change boot order. Here you can see that hard disk is the first boot order. According to the settings that we have here, hard disk is the first boot order. So I'm going to change the first boot order, or I'm going to set the DVD room as the first boot order. So I'm going to press enter, and then here I use the arrow keys to choose the CD-ROM drive, and then I use the plus key to move it up. I press enter from here, and then I commit changes and exit from here. So I'm going to press the escape key, and the next thing I will do is to do a normal boot. So I'm going to choose boot normally, and then I press the enter key. So I press any key to boot from the CD or DVD. So now the machine is booting from the DVD in order for me to continue the process. So if it was on a live system, your machine would have been booting from the USB thumb drive now. All right, so it will take us to the operating system installation stage right over here. So our target is not to install an operating system, but to get to this stage. Then we press Shift plus F10 to give us this command window, and then here we type WMIC logical disk get name. WMIC logical disk get name. So this command lists the volumes available on the system with their drive letters. That is what we are looking for. Now the reason why we entered this command is that volume C by default is what contains the operating system files. That is the certain directories that form the operating system files. So usually we have the program files x86, we have the performance log directory, we have the users directory, and we have the Windows directory. So that is what we are going to look for. But sometimes the volume C changes, or the drive letter changes to something else at this stage. That is why there is the need for us to run this command so that it pulls up all the available volumes. Then we navigate into the volumes to look for the folders. So I'm going to begin with the first one, which is the volume C. So I type C colon, and then I press enter. So the prompt changes to C colon backslash, and then I type dir to check the contents of that volume C. So luckily for us, we have the folders that we are looking for in that directory. So we have perflux, program files, users, Windows, and then windows.o. So this is the content that we are looking for. Had we not seen these directories in the volume C, we would have continued with volume D, volume X, and whatever volumes that were displayed. So luckily for us, we have it here, so we are good to go. So I'm going to type cd windows as the next command. So cd windows takes me to this Windows directory or this Windows folder. So the next thing is to type cd system 32. So system 32 is part of the directories or the subdirectories in the Windows directory. So I hit the enter key from here. So now that I am inside system 32, I am ready to begin the process of changing the utilman program to command prompt. So don't forget, I mentioned earlier that we are going to change the utilman program, which controls the ease of access, to command prompt. So I'm going to type ren utilman.exe utilman1.exe. So we are renaming utilman.exe to something else, or in other words, we are creating a backup for the utilman program. So I hit the enter key, and my next command is ren cmd.exe utilman.exe. So now we are changing the utilman.exe to command prompt. So we are done over here. So that is all what we needed the boot drive to do at this stage, to change the utilman program to command prompt. So we are done. We can close this one as well, and then go and eject the DVD from the machine. So I have to power it off. Then I eject the DVD drive from the machine. So if it was on the live system, you would eject the USB thumb drive from the machine so that you do a normal boot. So here I'm going to go to edit virtual machine settings and then come to DVD. I can just uncheck this box, power connect at power on, and then I click OK, and then do a normal boot, because once it is not connecting at power on, it will not be accessed by the system. So I'm going to remove it outright from there, and then I click OK. Now don't forget that the boot order is still set to DVD, or let's say on a live system it is still set to USB. But once the USB has been ejected, or once the DVD has been ejected, the system will boot from the hard disk. So I'm going to power on the virtual machine. So you can see it's going to power on from the hard disk, or it's going to do a normal boot, just as you are seeing, to load the operating system files and take me to the sign in screen, where I'm going to click the ease of access button, which we expect to display the command prompt instead of the ease of access features. Okay, so we are here at the sign in screen. I'm going to click the ease of access button, and we expect command prompt to open instead of the features we saw earlier. So here we go, command prompt has opened instead of the ease of access features we saw earlier. So when you check the title bar over here, you see C:\Windows System32 utilman.exe. So it has converted that utility manager to command prompt for us. So here you can do whatever you want to do on the system with this command prompt. Now, we can do denial of service, as in we can deny legitimate users access to this system by deleting their account, or let's say renaming the account to something else, or changing their passwords. All of those things can be done with command prompt to deny them access to the system. Or when we want to steal data from this system, we can just create a new account, use that account to log onto the system. Then when we finish, we delete the account from the machine and even perform a reset or do so many things on this machine that the legitimate users may not even know that someone has accessed the system. So I'm going to type net user, which is the command that is going to be used to work around the users. So net user displays the list of available users on the machine. So the Tech with Kobo you are seeing here, the Tech with Kobo you are seeing over here at the sign-in screen is what you are seeing as well in command prompt over here, Tech with Kobo, as well as the lab account. So both of them, you can change their passwords to deny the legitimate users access to the machine, because definitely they will come in with their own passwords to try to log onto the system. So if you are also a legitimate user and you have forgotten your password and you are the one doing this, you can use this approach to change the password. So when you want to change the password of any of the user accounts, you type net user, let's say lab as the account name, and then you follow it with an asterisk and hit the enter key. So you type 1234 as the password and you hit the enter key, then you confirm. Now when you are typing the password, you are not going to see the characters showing on the screen, but it is indeed accepting them. So you hit the enter key to complete, and it says the command completed successfully. You can do same for the Tech with Kobo account. So Tech with Kobo, and then you bring the asterisk symbol, hit the enter key, and you change the password. So this can be done by a legitimate user or an adversary or an attacker who is trying to gain access to the system. When you want to change the username, it can as well be done. So let's say I want to change the username of the lab account. I'm going to type WMIC user account, where name is equal to lab, or rename name is equal to, let's say, cyber, and then I hit the enter key. It says user accounts alias not found. So there's a problem with the user account spelling. So I think there should be no S. So I'll delete the S and then I press enter, and it says invalid query. So there's a problem somewhere. WMIC user account, where name is equal to lab, query name is equal to cyber. So let me just work around this to get it resolved. All right, so I hit enter, and this time it says method execution successful. So I had to introduce double quotes to handle both names, that is the old name and then the new name. So it says the method execution successful. So when I type net user this time and I hit enter key, you can see that the lab account has been changed to cyber. So we do not have the lab account anymore, but we have cyber. So many of these things can be done or to work around the user account. It all depends on what you want to do. So now that you have access to the command prompt with administrative privileges, you can just work around the user account. Now, you can also create a new user account and use it to access the system. So I can create net user, let's say Kofi /add. And then once I have created this account, it becomes a standard account. So when I use it to log on to the system, I'll be limited as to the kind of things that I can do. So I have to put this account into the administrators group so that I can get root privileges to control the system. So I'll type net local group administrators /add Kofi. So it says the command completed successfully. So if I want to see that indeed Kofi has been added to the administrators group, I'll type net user Kofi. So when I come here, local group membership, I have seen that, or you see that Kofi has been added to the administrators group, but it is still part of the users group. So I have to delete it from the users group so that it becomes member of the administrators group exclusively. So I'm going to type net local group users, then / delete Kofi. So I've deleted Kofi from the users group. So now it is exclusively a member of the administrators group. So when the Kofi account is used to log onto the system, it's going to have root privileges on the system to perform any activity that he wants to perform. So I'm going to reboot the system and use the Kofi account to log onto the system. So whatever command you are going to run over here depends on what you want to do. So if you want to do denial of service, you can change the passwords of the existing account, or you can rename the account, or you can just delete the account outright. So let's say I want to delete the cyber account, which I changed from lab to cyber. If I want to delete it, I'll type net user / delete cyber. So when you do any of these, when you delete the account, rename the account, change the password, you are denying that user access to the system. But if you're a legitimate user of the system, then you can work around yourself by changing the password in order to have access to the system. Or if you're a malicious person or an adversary, you can just create a new user account and use it to log onto the system. So I'm going to reboot the system to have access to the new Kofi account and use it to access the machine. Now, it's very important that after you have accessed the system, you reverse the whole process. You reverse the process as in the command that you use to change the ease of access button to the command prompt has to be reversed. So the second command that you entered, which is the ren cmd.exe utilman.exe, has to be changed. Now it's become the first command, and we're going to type it as ren utilman.exe cmd.exe, and then your second command will become ren utilman1.exe utilman.exe to reverse the process in order to convert the utilman program back to how it was earlier, so that you can also have command prompt reverted to how it was. So now we have the Kofi account over here, which we can use to log onto the system when clicked. So this is going to be a backdoor account that you're going to use to log onto the system. When you finish, you can delete it from the system. So that is what makes it imperative for you to protect your system or to tighten it up from any of these vulnerabilities or from these attacks. So bypassing the Windows login screen is easier than you thought, and that's exactly why system hardening and physical security are critical. So if you're a system administrator or cybersecurity enthusiast, consider this a reminder. Default settings aren't always secure. Stay informed, stay ethical, and always protect your endpoint, because knowledge is power, but integrity is everything. So if you loved this video, kindly do not forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell icon, subscribe and share, and drop your comments if you want any of these Microsoft tutorials or security tutorials in order to aid you to tighten your system. Thank you so much once again for watching. Don't forget to keep building and keep securing your system.